Hey guys, welcome back to Future Creatures DTF. I am one half of your host, Jordana, and with me, as always, is my fantastic co-host, Sam.
Hello.
Hello, Sam.
Based on our topic, I was trying to go like I was like Woody Woodpecker came to my mind, and I was, but then I blanked, and I'm like, what is Woody Woodpecker's catchphrase?
Catchphrase is. I would have died if you would have just did that.
Oh, I wish I could have, but I probably just would have went with my classic Nelson. How are you doing, Jordana?
I am fantastic now that I'm here chatting with you. But it's real funny that you bring up Woody Woodpecker. Apparently, Greg was scrolling on Facebook, and one of our neighbors, decided to take a picture of the huge woodpecker that's pecking our mailbox. And that motherfucker is huge.
Yeah, they're big. I had one that was attacking my front door a couple years ago, and I remember I was like, Jesus, that's big.
Yeah, they're massive, but also leave my mailbox alone.
Yeah,
please, go chop a tree or knock down the one in front of my house. That would be awesome. Just don't knock down my mailbox. But how have you been?
I'm doing well. I can't really complain about it. Been watching lots of movies, some of which are going to fit our topic this evening.
Hell yeah.
But what about you? What else have you been watching this week?
So the in-laws came down. We went and saw the Yin Yang Twins and Young Jock Saturday.
With the in-laws?
No, the in-laws came down
I know. The way you worded that, I'm like, those are some fucking cool in-laws.
Even though I'm sure my mother-in-law would have loved to have gone to see Young Jock, because every time she's here, she meet me in the trail. It's going down. Meet me in the mall. So she would have loved it. And I actually FaceTimed her when he did that song, but it was amazing. My 15 to 25-year-old self was fucking geeking out. And then get this, Greg is in the bar after the show because we got the Uber, and I think they were getting one more drink before we left. And who walks by him? Fucking Yin Yang Twins. And what does he say to them? Great show, guys. Fist bumps them. I'm like, why didn't you call me? Why didn't you take a picture with them? Why didn't you say, hey, can you? Nothing. So Greg got to meet Yin Yang Twins, and I didn't. And I'm sad.
Well, I'm sorry that you didn't get to meet them.
It's okay.
It makes you feel better. And I went to a show one time. This is so not this is so nerdy, but I went to it was at the House of Blues, so it was a real show. But it was a podcast, and after the show, the guys that were doing the podcast, which were pretty big podcasters, show called Something to Wrestle for wrestling fans, and they were the two hosts were walking back after the show. But I was so hammered. I remember being like the words wouldn't come out of my mouth. I was like, you guys are awesome. And they shook my hand, and I could tell that one of them was like, get this guy the fuck away from me.
I love that for you. You have such amazing run-ins with celebrities, like Val Kilmer in the bathroom. These guys, I love it.
That show was such a shit show. We went, and this is back when I was doing the wrestling podcast, which has restarted, by the way, Below the Belt Wrestling. Go check it out if you like wrestling shows. It was when we were a 4-person podcast. So all 4 of us went, and we're diehard wrestling fans. One of us, though, is Brett. You know Brett, and Brett weighs 90 pounds. So we're drinking at the show. And literally the show starts. 5 minutes into the show, Brett stands up, is already blackout drunk, and he goes, "We're leaving." And he didn't drive, so we're like, we paid for these tickets, bro. We're staying.
Bye.
He's like, I'm walking home. Then we're hours from home. Anyway,
did he?
No, he ended up coming in and literally just passed out in his seat.
That is the best story.
It was great.
Oh my god!
But yes, that's fun.
Yeah. So I mean, after that they were down here for a couple days. We watched The Ritual on Netflix, which
big old deer.
Yep. If you haven't seen it, fucking go watch it because it's
Spoiler
amazing.
alert on what I just told you. Don't ignore nothing about a deer. Don't worry about
it. He said, grab me another beer.
Yes.
Yes. And then we watched Abigail. We already saw it. First time watch for them. Loved it. Abigail is so fucking good. I mean,
never mind. Just moving on.
And then we watched Late Night with the Devil. Shocker.
Of course you did.
Of course. And they loved it. So that made me very happy. I'm trying to think what else we watched. Oh, my mother-in-law and sister-in-law watched Fall Guy.
I've heard it was amazing.
And I fell asleep. I partied a little too hard. But I also did work. So working and partying hard definitely played a factor. But they both said it. No, she said, my mother-in-law said it was great. My sister-in-law went, man. So
I would like to see it just because it's supposedly like a love letter to stuntmen, but I also heard it like lost a bunch of money. So
that sucks. But I like the fact that it is acknowledgement to the stunt actors, because I mean, let's be real, they are the true fucking heroes that risk their life. So I'm all about that.
Mm-hmm. I don't want to. Never mind. I'm not even going to get into that.
Say it. Just say it, because I know you want to.
I watched a documentary on HBO that Daniel Radcliffe made, Harry Potter, and he made it about the stunt guy who played him in the movies, and he was a kid just like him.
Wow.
Doing the stunts, and he got paralyzed for life, quadriplegic in one of the scenes, and like it's just and they're still friends, and like they maintain a relationship, and like and Daniel Radcliffe made this movie about him to tell his story, so like it's really sweet, but like also like horrific.
Wow, that just gave me goosebumps. I'm not even kidding. Like I did not know that happened.
Yeah, I don't know the name of the movie, but if you're interested, listeners, just Google big Harry Potter HBO documentary. It'll come up.
Oh, I'm gonna have to Google that and then tell my father-in-law, because he is a huge Harry Potter fan.
Yeah, you get a lot of like behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, it was really good. Not one that I thought I was going to be talking about today, but
right. But that's interesting, because I didn't even, oddly, I've never even heard of it. Just you would think something like that would be a little bit more mainstream, because Harry Potter is such a culturally,
I think they did their best to try and hide it, or not hide it, but like keep it under wraps, you know, like keep it quiet at the time. But yeah, and like they show you the accident in the fucking movie, and it's sad.
Oh God, no. And see, the thing of it is I think that's pretty honorable of him to do that. Like that's to acknowledge him, to tell the story, because I mean, like you said, he was a kid, and also it's not like it was his fault. No, it's not like it was anyone's fault. It was an accident, but it's just very unfortunate that it's life-changing, and that it's such on a high scale of, you know, what he was doing. So that's unfortunate, and I'm sad. But let's switch gears and make it happy. Let's talk about happy stuff.
So I will say that it might be my favorite movie I've watched in a while. Mm-hmm. And it will sort of lead us into our discussion today. But I went on an animation kick of watching all these animated movies, and I loved Migration.
Migration is so fucking good, and I can't even. You talk about Migration, then I'll tell my story.
I literally had no intention of ever watching it. I was like, I don't care. Like, I mean, I like the actresses. I think it's Elizabeth Banks, who I love, and Kumail Nanjiani, who I love.
Yes.
But whoever played the daughter was adorable.
Love her so much. But you know, Danny DeVito was the uncle.
Oh yeah, Danny DeVito. He's Uncle Bob or whatever the fuck it was. But I watched that movie, and I just had a smile on my face from ear to fucking ear the whole time. I loved it. It's so stupid and silly, and just it reminded, and I didn't feel like it was like a ham-fisted like message behind it. It was just like a fun, heartwarming story about a bunch of fucking ducks, and I loved it.
I love that you just said that too. There was nothing that it was trying to convey. There was no, it was just an animated movie, family movie, and I loved it. I laughed. Okay, so I watched it with Roz, but I smoked beforehand.
Mhm.
And I was on the couch and we're watching it. And the part where the girl was like, please, and she starts, her eyes get huge and she's doing the really long. I was laughing so hard. And Roz was like, Mom, it's not that funny. I'm like, yes, it is. And I just thought it was so cute and hilarious and perfect cast. I think Migration's fantastic.
Oh, I thought it was great. I mean, I love the fact that Kumail Nanjiani's character fucking hates the uncle. he's like, yeah, he would have wanted it this way. He would have wanted us to leave him.
I know that when he's like, he's coming, he's like, what?
Oh yeah, good stuff. And I mean, just like little things about it, like the daughter bird and how much she loves Uncle Bob or whatever. Like that's her favorite person is this crazy old fucking Danny DeVito bird. It was sweet and fun, and it really put me on. It was kind of the thing that put me on the path to this episode because I was like, dude, I just love animated movies. Like when they're done right, they're so fucking good. And I went on a fucking tear of animated movies.
I love that because I feel like there's so many amazing animated movies that are kid oriented, adult oriented, family, even so much as shows. Because I have a couple shows to talk about, just because you have to. But your 3 ideas for episodes have been chef's kiss. So yay, Sam, for bringing the awesome content. Yes.
Can I tell you, because I don't want to put it in with my picks because it's so new. I feel like that's not like when I want to put. Can I tell you the other movie that I watched in my recent like tearing through animated movies that I just thought was fucking awesome?
What?
Netflix. It's a Netflix movie. It's called Mitchell's versus the Machines.
Yes, I love that. Who was it in it?
Danny McBride is the dad, and that's the only character, the actor I recognize.
Yes.
But like, it was like the animation was kind of different than what I'm used to. So I thought the animation visually looked really cool. And it had heart to it, but I didn't feel like it was beating me over the head with the message. I mean, the message essentially was just that sometimes families fight. Like I can get down with that. Like
because here it is. It's something that does happen and it's a common thing. And it's just like, that's such a simple premise. And it's good that it wasn't spun into this or done into this. And it's just that's it. Like people have arguments, disagreements, but you're still family and you work through it and you love each other.
Yeah, 100%. And I just thought it was really, really fun and the animation was good. And honestly, like for a kids movie, I feel like if you had like, again, this is going to be the weirdest part about this conversation is that I have no kids. So I'm just a man in my 30s sitting here being like, I like the Ducks, but like you at least have a kid.
The Ducks.
But so like, that's going to be a little like we're coming at these movies from different perspectives sometimes. But no, I thought Mitchell's versus Machines was great. That and Migration were the movies that like I was like, fuck, man, animation is fucking cool. Like
I think animation is the one type of movie that has stuck with me. Like I'll always watch a Disney movie. I'll always watch like the newer animated movies just because Roz, she'll be like, oh, I'm not watching that stuff. That's for kids. And then she'll be like, Mom, can I watch Migration? I'm like, yeah, of course you can. And I love animated movies in any realm. Give me horror, give me family, give me comedy, raunchy, give me all of it.
I'm with you. Like it's a medium that, you know, can really portray anything, whether it's adult or, you know, children oriented. And I mean, the majority of it's probably children oriented, or at least that, but there's something heartwarming about those. But then there's like those kind of fucked up ones too, that like, you're like, oh, wow. All right. Like,
well, like look at Coraline, for example. Coraline is such a great kids movie, but it's like geared for like the 10 to like 13-year-old kids and like older, I feel like, because there's dark subject matter, but it's such a good movie. I mean, you have They Might Be Giants.
Yep.
You know, doing the little songs and stuff, or the guy from They Might Be Giants. But I don't know. It's so good.
Yeah, Coraline's. I'll be honest with you. I think it's a genuinely creepy movie. Like
It is.
If I watched that as a kid, I could see myself being afraid of it because just like with the people and the fucking eyes and like
with the buttons and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that one I could see creeping me out a little bit if I was a kid. But no, I was just a man in his 20s at that point, sitting in a movie theater watching it by himself.
Or you know what? Okay, another one that we'll get to our picks, I swear. And if I take a pick, I hope this is not one on your list.
I got plenty of picks, so don't worry.
Okay, good.
If you take one, we're good to go.
We're good. We're solid. Was the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie? I love that one.
I have not seen it, but I have. I love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I very much want to see it. But I don't. I did not make it to theaters, and I don't know if it's streaming yet.
I don't know if it's streaming yet either, but that was so good. The soundtrack is fucking killer. Like, great rap music. Just the characters were great. The storyline, the action. It felt like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Like it felt like one, and I loved it. I truly enjoyed it. So I think you're gonna feel the same way. Hopefully,
I'm hoping. I'm very hopeful. I've not heard a single bad thing about it. Like I love the Turtles. I wasn't really into the Michael Bay Ninja Turtle movies. I watched them once and that was enough. But this looks to me, at least from what I've seen in clips and stuff, it looks closer to what I would like the newer, obviously it's never going to be the 90s again, but this is where the Turtles should be in 2024. Like this is how they should be presented.
I completely agree. And they're coming out with another one. So I'm really excited about that. So yay for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because you and I are both huge fans, and yay for cartoons.
All right. Well, we're talking about cartoons. Let's get into some of our favorite cartoons, shows, animations, whatever the fuck it is. If it's drawn with a pencil, it's fair game.
Yes. I'm excited. Okay, you go first.
So I'm just going to go chronologically for this first one. Anytime someone asks me what my favorite Disney movie is, it's not even a question. It's the Aristocats.
Oh, fucking love the Aristocats.
I love that movie so much. The little cats are adorable. I think part of the reason why I loved it so much as a kid was I always desperately wanted a cat when I was a kid, and my dad was like, "Fuck cats! I don't want cats." Blah blah blah. So I didn't end up, but I finally got him to get me one when I was 15. But
were you so excited?
Oh yeah, no, and I had that cat for close to 15 years.
I love that.
Yeah. No, 18 years actually. I'm sorry. And I actually have a little kitty paw print on my hand for her.
I love that so much.
Yeah, but I love the Aristocats. I think it's so funny. It's so sweet. The animation. There's something about that animation from the 70s that that it's kind of wispy. But those Disney movies from that period of time, I don't know if there's anything that's more saccharine sweet for my soul than watching that, or and I don't want to steal one of your picks, but that, or those movies from that period of time, like that, or Peter Pan, or that era of movies is just fucking awesome, and I love them.
Even so far as do you remember the Disney cartoons with Donald Duck?
Oh yeah,
like the shorts and stuff. Rosalind and I will watch Corn Chips all the time, and it's the one with Donald and Chip and Dale. Oh. And they're in the tree, and they have the popcorn kernels, and they steal it from Donald, and she recites it, and I love it because I grew up on that. I used to watch those with my grandparents. I used to watch Disney all the time. I had all the Disney movies, so it's very close to my heart. It warms my soul when I'm watching it by myself or I'm watching it with her. I love that period of Disney. It's like home to me. It can make me emotional talking about it because I love it so much.
I love it so much. And the part that this is where, I'll be negative Nancy here. The part that bums me out is how they're fucking destroying these movies with these awful live action remakes. I will straight up, I don't care what anyone says. The Lion King remake was one of the worst fucking movies I've ever seen in my life.
They're all just I don't think we need okay, again, I don't think we need a retelling of a story. I think that they need more stories and more like substance to come from it than doing live action. Just some of the newer Disney movies are just strange to me. Like what the messages and like the subject matter. I don't know. It's just very weird.
I
And I miss the old Disney.
I agree, and I think that, I mean, we're talking animation here. Like a big issue I have with all of these live action animation, these live action adaptations of these animated movies, is that they've sucked the soul out of the animation. Like,
Yeah.
for example, like, okay, and I know I'm going to shit on it, but I don't give a shit. I fucking hate that new Lion King movie. Like, Timon and Pumbaa are some of the most iconic characters ever. And they're like, Pumbaa is such a lovable, likable character. And, you know, he dances and he looks cute and he's fun.
Yeah.
Then when you translate that and you just put a photorealistic fucking boar on the screen, all of that charm and charisma just goes out the fucking door. And now you just have Seth Rogen making fart jokes.
I know, and it's like, okay, granted,
I love Seth Rogen.
I love him too, and I think he's perfect for that part. But like, I would have loved to have seen him as the cartoon, wagging his little tail, wiggling his little tail, and being all cute and like moseying around. Like, I would have preferred to see animation with Seth Rogen in it, not this stupid fucking live action shit like Aladdin. I couldn't stand it.
No.
I don't even know what.
Couldn't even get
Yeah. We went and saw it at a drive-in, and I sat and talked to my friend more than, I mean, the kids are watching it, but I was just like, what the fuck is this? Like, what are these songs? What the fuck is going on? I truly cannot.
Yeah. I'm not a fan. I've yet to see one. You know what? The only one that I didn't mind, which is not really a remake, so maybe that's why I didn't mind. I didn't mind the Cruella movie. I actually thought that was okay. But I mean, but again, it's like a retelling. It's a whole different story. They're not like, you know, doing. Like, I didn't even really like the Meryl Streep version of 101 Dalmatians, where the dogs looked all fucking weird.
I didn't either. I'm again like, give me, oh my god, what is it? The Rescuers Down Under. Give me all of those movies. Give me, well, do you want me to lead into?
Yeah,
because Disney, I'll stay on the same path. So one of my favorite Disney movies is The Sword and the Stone.
Hell yeah.
I love Merlin. I love just everything about that. I love the sequence with the squirrels. I love
the squirrel, the fish chase.
The fish. Yes. All of it is just so, I just, there's something about Merlin and the way he's like, oh, and the way he moves. I'm a grumpy old man. And the girl's like,
oh yeah, when the bird's trying to fuck him.
And he's like, well, I say.
The squirrel's trying to fuck him. That's what
the squirrel's trying to fuck him. Yes. But it's just so great. And I don't know. I always watch that movie when I'm in like, I want to feel good mood, and Roz loves it. It's Greg's favorite one. It's just it's a classic, and I don't want anyone to touch it or do anything to it because it's perfect.
100%. I think I think this is one of those movies that we sort of realized we had a really good connection, because I remember I told you that like growing up, I spent 5 days a week at my grandparents' house, and they had 5 videotapes.
Yeah.
That I would watch 4 of them over and over again. Never watched Splash, but one of those tapes was Sword in the Stone. So I watched that movie. I mean, I could not tell you how many times I watched that movie.
It's so goddamn good. And like, I remember my grandma showing it to me. You know what I mean? Like, I remember her like introducing it to me, and I was just like, my mind was blown. And then just came like the rest of the Disney movies. And I just remember, like you said, I was at my grandparents all the time, and it gives you those like warm feelings when you think about it. And like, just like to be able to share it with Roz.
I think, again, for me, I'm like talking to my dog, like, oh man,
it's okay.
You're gonna love this movie. Wait for part of my childhood, Ripley. We're gonna watch Sword of the Stone tonight, which I
wait for the squirrel scene. I know.
But yeah, so like I would have to imagine like that these movies are probably extra, not important, but extra impactful as a parent, because this is something that you genuinely can like pass on to the love for it, you know, to your kid.
Yeah. And there's times where I'll like certain things remind me of my grandmother, and I'm just so like I'm almost 40, so I'm overly emotional. So I'll be sitting there crying, and Ross is like, "What's wrong, Mom?" I'm like, "It just reminds me of Nana." She's like, "Okay." And she just keeps watching the movie. I'm like, "I'm fine. I'll
Oh,
get over it." But it
trust
just
me, that happens all the time. There's a movie that reminds me of a cousin who passed away, and every time I watch it, I bawl. And Deanna like will literally like come into the room, and she's like, "Are you?" It's a weird one, dude. It's Warrior, the movie with Tom Hardy about UFC fighting. I don't even want to get into it why it connects, but it does. And like she's like, "Oh my god, you're just gonna cry again. Why are you watching this?"
I know, and it's like,
And I'm like, "Because I love it."
it's like not like therapy, but it just makes me feel good to like feel those feelings and to like naturally feel them and be happy and then be like sad. It's okay. That's
Yeah.
all right to feel those emotions. And it happens when squirrels are trying to fuck a little wizard and all this other stuff. But what can I say?
Yeah, I mean, there's just something about those.
Yes. I mean, I can literally pick every movie from Disney. If we're talking animation, I could pick so many like weird ones, but we'll
And I suspect we probably will dip in there a little bit here. But I am going to take us in a slightly different direction just to kind of mix things up a bit.
okay.
This is probably a direction I don't think you're super familiar with, but let me just. All right.
Oh no.
So, DC animated movies are
Oh.
fucking awesome, and there's like 50 of them, and I own all of them.
Wow. Okay.
So a lot of people, so obviously Marvel kicks the shit out of DC at the box office in like the live action animate or live action films.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows that. I'm not really big on them. But DC has been making these animated movies for the last like 10, 15 years, and
Okay.
they are top notch, unbelievably good. They're probably a little too adult. Like if you were like 13, I think you'd be okay. But like for a
Yeah.
kid, there's kind of some like people fucking die and shit.
Yeah.
There's the one where the only one that I never liked. Batman gets fucking blown in it.
Like or like blown up.
No, like he has sex with Batwoman. It's a
Okay.
it's the only one I did not enjoy. It's The Killing Joke for anyone who does listen to these. That movie fucking sucked.
I feel like that's the one that I know though. I feel like that's one I've heard of.
So The Killing Joke is one of the most famous Batman comics of all time.
Yeah.
The problem with it is that it wasn't enough to substantiate a 90-minute movie. So they basically like invented, like they almost had like a movie before the movie. Okay. And they went off the fucking rails. They were like, "Yeah, Batman's gonna fuck Batgirl," and we're like, "What? Like,
what?
That never happens." Okay, like, and like I never needed to see that either. Like,
note to self: I don't need to see it. Like that's cool, and in our minds we can think about it, but we don't need to see it.
Yeah, and then really, I think I'm not gonna get into like which one's my favorite and blah 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 blah. But like, it's just it's adult animation. Like this is a movie that you can watch as an adult and be like, I am just as entertained by this as I am entertained by any mainstream Hollywood movie. And there is a continuity to them that like, I mean, like everyone's like, oh, Marvel has this cinematic universe. Well, yeah, they got like 50 fucking movies over here, bro. Like they're keeping this shit together, and it's awesome. And I recommend anyone who is in any way a comic book fan, if you've never sought one of these out, just give them a try. They are, I think the entirety of them are on HBO. And they are really, really good. And especially if you're a Batman fan, that's my only issue is that because Batman sells the most, he gets so many more movies than the rest of them do. But they are all really, really good. And I recommend anyone who has a mild interest to check them out.
See, I think that would be right up Greg's alley. And I'm sure if you like sent me titles, I'm sure he probably has seen them, but like he just ripped through X-Men. What's 97? The new one? Yeah, he just ripped through that. And at first he was like, I don't know. And then he was like, oh, I really like, and then he kind of like shifted. Have you watched it yet?
I have not, only because I do not have Disney Plus. I want to because I'm a big X-Men fan, so I'm probably going to
Yes.
subscribe and power watch it. But I've heard, I believe it's the highest rated thing on Disney Plus.
Because I thought of you because I knew that you were really excited for that drop. And I was nervous because I was like, oh no, I hope they don't fuck it up. And I worked like one of my first shifts of my second job. And I came back and he was like, I didn't really like it. And he got super excited telling me, he's like, I don't know. And then it just went off the rails and I really like it. And he like binged it and was done with it. So
I very much want to jump into it. I'm just cheap and don't want to give Disney any more of my money right now.
I honestly don't blame you. And then also I wanted to tell you this, and I know this is like tangenty, but it fits with the show. We watched X-Men, the newer movies. Is it not the Rise of the Phoenix, but what's the
Dark Phoenix?
Dark Phoenix. Yep. And then your face, you didn't like it, right? You didn't like any of those ones?
I despise that movie. And I don't know which one you watched because they have done that storyline twice and they fucked it up both times. So was it the one with Famke Jensen or was it the one with the chick from Game of Thrones?
The chick with Game of Thrones.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
and Nick Holt. And I was watching it and I was like, because I don't know, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know the X-Men stories that much, and I don't really know the characters because I was, heavily Marvel.
And that's an interesting perspective. I'm curious to hear your side of it as someone who isn't like a fucking nerd who was like, whacking off to Rogue when he was like watching like the original run, like,
I know I caught Greg doing that in this one. But
there is a reason I have this Rogue statue right here.
Yeah, well, I can see why you were pulling the meat to that one. But like, I honestly pulling your little hot dog.
Weird for it. This is the cartoon episode.
Hey, no, we're trying to. Nah, no, we're not. So I did not mind it as a movie. I know that sounds really weird, but without me knowing specific details, and I was, of course, bothering, and I'm not saying like he was bothered, but I was asking him so many questions, like what, da 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 da. I'm like, oh, so he's gonna be pissed that Raven, you know what I mean, like that she killed Ray. Spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen it, but he was explaining it to me, and I was like, I don't think it was a bad watch for me. Like I was entertained, and I actually kind of like was going from my phone to the TV to my, trying to pay attention. But I could see where if it's a story that and that they fucked it up twice, where there would be no compromise in liking it. I get that because he said it so many times. He's like, stick to the comic book. Why do we have to fucking do all this different stuff to it? Just keep to the story. Like,
well, yeah, and I mean, obviously, and that's like why. That's why I don't really like most of the X-Men live action movies. There's Logan is amazing. Yeah. Logan's probably my favorite comic book movie adaptation. But like, it's just I can't remove that knowledge from my brain. Like I can't remove all of the issues that I've read and the fucking shows and all that shit that I've watched. But like as a movie, like I mean, if I was able to come at it from the same perspective that you did, it's probably not that bad. It's just with what I know, I can't remove that, and like it fucking infuriates me.
But it's good though, because at least you can, like, if someone were to be like, give your honest opinion about this, like as a review or like a viewer who's a fan of the franchise, a fan of X-Men, and they were to ask you, you need to be that voice to say it's really not that good. Because I mean, I hate to say that it doesn't matter, but like if the masses don't like something, then they're gonna tweak it and they're gonna work on it. Whether they work on it and tweak it worse, is another question.
We'll see. I got until 2026 to figure that one out.
Yep. Hopefully they get it done sooner than that. Anyway.
But what is your next pick for your favorite animated art
thing? So I'm going to go with okay, which one do I want to go with first? I'm going to go with Aqua Teen Hunger Force because That show is just
My
fucking
name is.
Shake Sula. I fucking love Meatwad. I love Ham Banana. I love Frylock. I just love. Remember Ham Banana
Oh,
tonight?
I remember the rapist.
You. I love it. Greg and I will send that to each other. We're like, tonight, you. But like Carl, I feel like is my spirit animal.
Oh, so good. I love that show. I've not seen the new movie, the one that just came out.
I have not either, which I hate to admit, but I have not.
And I will also say that I've only seen. I think have I told this story on the podcast about the original movie?
I don't know if you have.
I was throwing like a party at my house around the time that movie was out, and like my parents' house at that time, and some dude, like some girl's boyfriend was over, and he ordered it on demand without asking me, like on our TV, and
Wow.
I was drinking and fucking around, and like I remember by the end of the I'm like watching them, I'm like, dude, this is the fucking longest episode of Aqua Teen that I've ever seen, and and he's like, and like I don't remember him or somebody, they're like they just kept going like, yeah, it's weird, blah blah blah, and then like a month later, my mom's like, what the fuck is this? It's like a $25 charge, and I was like, god damn it.
I would have been so pissed. A.
Oh,
B.
I remember I messaged my friend. I'm like, tell your fucking boyfriend he's never coming over to my house again.
And he owes me $25. That's bullshit. Like, who does? I could never be that like, oh, let me just turn this on in someone else's house and like rent it. Like, and thank God we don't have the renting capabilities that much anymore. Like, at least we have streaming, and like sometimes you have to rent stuff on a streaming site.
Yeah.
But usually it's like
it used to be. You had to rent everything.
Yes, but I would be equally pissed. There's just something about Aqua Teen, and it was like in that realm of like Tim and Eric, Aqua Teen. Oh my God, what is it with Seth? Oh my God, Seth Green, Robot Chicken, Squidbillies. Like, I remember just staying up super late, smoking a ton of dope, getting a whole bunch of snacks, sitting in my room, laughing hysterically, passing out, getting up at 12 o'clock the next day, telling my mom, what the fuck were you laughing at? And I'm trying to explain like an episode of Aqua Teen about like Ham Banana. She's just like, what are you watching? I'm like, you just got to see it. I can't explain it.
Yeah, no, it's one that I hold in high regard. Like I said, for a specific place in time, like you're right about that.
Yes.
And there's just certain quotes from that I just, weekly I think of. I can't think of like the moon without like the Mooninites. I think about all the time.
Yes. Oh my God. Now talking about it makes me like want to go watch it.
I always think about the episode because I think it's my favorite one where Meatwad wants a bunny, so they buy him a python, and then it eats him, and then their plan is to get him to throw it up. They just pour a bunch of booze down the snake's throat, and then Meatwad's drunk as shit inside the snake.
Okay, so I will admit the episode really grossed me out because the thought of it. I was like, ugh. But it is really funny.
It smells like a brewery in here.
And it's like his little Meatwad body. Fucking snake.
And then Meatwad's talking shit to him. You're drunk. Shut up. Oh, I just love it. It's a great show.
I want candy, bubblegum taffy. I love
MC Chris.
Yes. And I think he's touring, and I think he's coming close to where we are.
He either came to Chicago very recently or he's about to, because I saw I got like an ad for it.
I want to go so bad. I feel like he's an artist that it's like if you don't go see him and you miss that opportunity, you might never get to see it.
Yeah, my only worry is that I'd be like, I know only the songs that you put on the show, so
yeah, that's it. But that's okay because I mean he is kind of known for that too. So,
all right, cool. I'm gonna bring it in with another. I would say the precursor to that era of cartoons. One of the things that I feel is the most formative fucking things of my childhood, but that is going to be Beavis and Butthead.
Yes. I was wondering if someone was going to say that.
Beavis and Butthead. I mean, I think as a kid they were like, they were one of my absolute most favorite things. I thought they were the fucking funniest. And I mean, the movie's so good. Like, the humor for it holds up to me. I don't know why, but I can watch Beavis and Butthead like on repeat forever, and I love it.
They're so great, and like the fact that they have stayed the same, they will stay the same. It like says it's like I hold them to the same regard as like The Simpsons. You know what I mean? Like they are iconic. But Beavis and Butthead, my grandmother hated when I would turn that on. She's like, "What are you? What? Why, Brianna? Why?" I'm like, I don't know. They're great.
I remember so one of I have a side of the family that's fairly religious, or at least they much more so when we were growing up. And I remember that like they were very strict on what my cousin could like watch and listen to. And she was playing this like record or album of like a Christian singer. And at one point he's like making fun of them. He's like, and Beavis and that other guy. And I was like, and I remember just being like, I just remember being like, you're a fucking nerd. I'm gonna go home and watch Beavis and Butthead just in spite of you.
Rotten hell.
But I mean, I just God, like the humor, it's so stupid, but it's so funny. Like Beavis, my original AOL screen name was Beavis.
Yes. I love it.
And I just love it. Like, I mean, I also, it's the one thing I really fucking hate is that because of music licensing rights, they're all edited the fuck. You can't really watch the original episodes where they comment. Because I mean, here's the thing, that if you're a younger listener, you may not even know what Beavis and Butthead really originally was. It was them watching music videos.
Yes, and I love. He just busted that bot. Like it was so ridiculous, and that's what I remember was when they first were watching music videos.
And they would just make fun of them or say how awesome they were, and it was so fun. But like because of rights issues for music, they basically chopped all of those out of like the rebroadcast, so you only get the the purely animated sections, which were good, they're great. But I wish that there was a way to restore those in their like their entirety,
in their natural state.
Yeah, and then the movie, the first one, is so fucking good. It's got Bruce Willis in it, Demi Moore, like, and I can't tell you how many times that probably at least once a week I think about the joke where they go to the Hoover Dam and Beavis goes, "Excuse me, is this a goddamn?" And like it's so stupid, but I love it.
Because that's the type of humor that you and I love, is that stupid, either like fart humor, gross toilet humor, just like the simplistic jokes. Like that's the shit that I love.
It's just so good. Like what he's got the Beavis. They think that Butthead has the unit, and they keep saying like to drop his pants. Why does everybody want to see my schlong? And then he thinks he gets beat up by Chelsea Clinton, and then he's like, "Did I just score?"
Yes, and that part, because we were watching it, and Roz was like kind of young, and it was the part where they're at the space place, right?
Yeah,
and then he was like talking about that, and I'm like, maybe she shouldn't be watching this because she was like a little bit younger, but that movie, I love that movie.
So good. I could go on forever about how much I love that movie, but Beavis and Butthead is such a huge part of my childhood, and I would be remiss if I did not include it on my list.
Fuck yes. Well, speaking of formative years, and I literally just talked about the song from this movie. It's just The Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and it's so like ridiculous, but that movie I would watch on repeat, like as a kid, as I got older, when I was doing hallucinogenics drugs, I watch it just because it's so fucking trippy, like the part with the heffalumps and woozles.
I mean, just the descriptions, heffalumps and woos.
Yeah, they're like,
seems like it was made for that.
They're like an elephant and what a heffalump and a moose. I don't know. They're just animals, but they're like crazy. And they have like, he has like a trumpet for his snout because he's the elephant. And Pooh is going into this dream state because it's raining out. And then like he trips out for a song, and then Piglet's like in a little umbrella. It's just, I don't know. There's something about Winnie the Pooh that is very close to my heart. It reminds me of my grandma. And then it's just stuck with me over the years. And I fucking love Pooh Bear. I love Piglet. And it's just, I don't know. It's funny to have that so close to your heart and then experience it when you're like in your teens and you drop a hit of acid or you rip a bong and then you turn it on and you're watching it and you're like, holy shit, this part's freaky. Have you seen it?
Yeah, I've absolutely seen that. Yeah.
It's
been a while though, I won't lie. That one's been quite a while.
I watched it last week, but
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Well, like we're just talking about it when like when you talk about something and you're like, I'm just gonna watch it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, yeah. I mean, that's probably why Sword in the Stone's getting watched tonight.
So I know there's so many hard choices. Like, what am I gonna watch after we record? But I don't know. I had to throw Pooh in there because Pooh Bear is
special to you.
Yes, I love Pooh Bear.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm gonna move. Now, this is obvious. This is sort of a half C, but I think you have to talk about animation. You got to talk about Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Fuck yes! Oh, I love that movie.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit is it's a love letter to cartoons. I mean, it's really what it is. Done. It's half live action, half animated, but I mean, they did a really good job of creating this Looney Tunes-esque world that the cartoons live in. And I mean, I'm not going to go into it because everybody knows Who Framed Roger Rabbit. And if you don't know Who Framed Roger Rabbit and you're a listener, you're a fucking idiot.
Go watch it right now.
So yeah, I mean, it's just, I love it. It's one of those movies that I think really like, I'm kind of shocked that there weren't more movies like this. There was that shitty movie Cool World with Brad Pitt. That was fucking weird. And that's really the only other one I could think of that like really ever tried to do this. Although I think they're kind of doing that now with that new movie, If.
Yes, with Ryan Reynolds and that whole situation. But yeah, Cool World was weird to me because like that came out in the 90s, so I was still kind of young. But I did feel like that was like a total rip-off, knockoff of Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, it was. I think they tried to make it be like, oh, we're going to be like the adult version where they like swear and like fuck. I'm like, oh, okay. Like,
I know, and it's like, but I don't really want to see that. Like, I want to see slapstick. I want to see funny things. I want to see action. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't really necessarily need to see Brad Pitt fucking a fucking like anatomically perfect woman. Like,
yeah, okay. No, I mean, I don't know. Like, just here's one of the things I think is like interesting about a movie like Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Obviously, it was a smash hit.
Mm-hmm.
The leading man is Bob Hoskins.
I know, like so weird, but cool.
The equivalent of that today would be like they made If, but then they instead of putting Ryan Reynolds in it, they put like I don't know Danny DeVito. Like,
what is with Danny DeVito? Like he keeps popping in
because he's a beautiful man.
He is.
But yeah, it's just like I also kind of like that era where like they took chances on movies and they didn't have to put the same fucking A-list actor in every movie, like it's like, okay, like I get it. Like I just get sort of tired of seeing the same fucking people in the same types of movies over and over and over again.
Because like the casting back then was like casting to the character. It wasn't just like, oh, this role was made for like so-and-so. It's like you already had this preconceived notion of creating the character. It's like, you knew who you wanted because of the cash grab. Back in the day, it was like, who fits the bill to be perfect for this role?
Absolutely. I mean, obviously there's always going to be like star-driven vehicles, but like I feel like they just took more chance. Like, again, I brought it up on the previous episode, like Passenger 57. Like that was really the movie that made Wesley Snipes. True. He was nobody before that. They just took a chance on him. They're like, listen, you're charismatic and you can fucking do kicks and shit. Let's give you a movie. Like
you could do kicks and shit.
Yeah. I mean, that's how not Rob Van Dam. That's how Jean-Claude Van Damme literally got a movie. He went up to Menachem Golem, who was the owner of Canon. He did the splits and he punched like right like on almost hit Menachem in the face, and Menachem was like, "You're a movie star." And he put him in a movie in the leading role.
I love it. How simple, how easy.
I wish I could have thought of it. But yes, Who Framed Roger Rabbit? I feel like it had to be on the list.
I love it. I don't know if the next one is really technically animated because it's like live action, and then there's like.
It kind of sounds like Roger Rabbit, so I think it's fair game.
Okay, because that's what I was like leaning into. I was like, this kind of fits perfect. But Mars Attacks.
Okay, yeah. All right.
Like, I just think that movie is creepy. I love the alien, like one of my favorite alien movies. In like a different vein, you know what I mean?
I agree. So it's very weird. It's a weird fucking movie, but like it's a movie that I think that there's no way that a major Hollywood studio would make it today. Like, no fucking way.
I would hope not, because I feel like this is like a one and done. Like, I feel like the cast was perfect. I feel like the aliens were just so like spot on for what an alien is, but like yeah, who was the blonde girl? Oh my god, why am I drawing a blank right now?
Wasn't it Madonna?
No, was it Lisa Marie?
You're talking about the one that gets her head with the Martian girl?
Yeah, the one that the blonde girl.
Oh, I'm thinking of Sarah Jessica Parker's who I was thinking of. Yeah, but yeah.
No, who is that? Hold on. Why is my phone doing that? I don't want to go on there. But anyway, just I don't know. It felt like Independence Day. It's kind of
like a parody of Independence Day.
Yes, but I think I prefer this one over Independence Day. But that's just me. I think it was Lisa Marie Presley that was in it.
You're talking about the one who's like on the cover in the movie and she like her face falls off, right?
Yes, and she's got like the big beehive hair. Just like that whole sequence is super weird. This girl. No, it's not Lisa Marie. I don't even know who plays her. And Martin Short was the one that like loved her.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's I agree. I love the movie. It's one of those that I don't watch super often, but I enjoy it. Just it's fun. I mean, that's an era of Tim Burton that I really enjoyed when he was making movies like that and Ed Wood.
Yes, Ed Wood.
Yeah, before when he was like making movies that were weird but uniquely independent of each movie was its own style of weird, and then he just sort of started doing like cut and copy fucking paste movies that every movie of his felt the same. Like, oh, we're gonna put stripes on everybody, they're gonna fucking look like, you know, mannequins. Okay, cool. Like, I mean, every movie felt the same. But that era of Tim Burton was fucking awesome.
I agree. Ed Wood is amazing. And it is so sad, but I feel like, and I hate saying this because I don't know, I'm like not in Tim Burton's side, but I feel like as the older that he gets, copy and pasting is easy. And he knows that if he does this formula, then it's going to be a hit. I feel like, why not take risks? Because you took so many risks in the past that are iconic movies. Like, please, let's not be stale and do the same thing over and over again. Give me more of an Ed Wood.
Is he
like
directing this new Beetlejuice fucking movie?
He is.
Oh.
And it doesn't, when I watch the trailers, it does not feel like it. It feels like just a Hollywood ripoff, just putting the name on there. Yep. And it sucks because everyone is freaking about this movie. And I'm just kind of like, I'm more excited for In a Violent Nature. I'm more excited for Terrifier 3. I could care less about this
I
movie.
am with you there, sister. I very much more care about those two movies than I don't care about Beetlejuice anymore. Like the first one was great. That's it.
And it makes me sad because I'm a huge Beetlejuice fan. Like I love the original. I think the original is so good in so many ways. But I don't feel like we need one now. I think it's a cash grab, just slapping the name on it, and I'm not partaking. I'm not partaking in that hype.
Well, I will tell you a movie that I like to partake in.
Yeah. Please.
So my next pick is a movie that like when you're starting to get to the age where you're like, I'm too old for these movies.
Yes.
But I remember being like, I am too old to be into these movies. But at the same time, I fucking loved Monsters Inc. so much.
Oh my God. I love Monsters Inc. I love it.
Monsters Inc. I don't really know how old I was. I just remember feeling that I was too old to like this movie as much as I did. Like I was super, super into it, but it had all the shit that I like. I love monsters, and I like seeing all the different weird creatures, and I like the idea that they got to survive off screens and all this other shit.
Yep.
And then, I mean, again, and I said it on the previous episode, I love anything with John Goodman in it, and Billy Crystal's fucking great. So, like,
a great team because their dynamic is so goddamn good. Monsters Inc. Oh my God, always makes me tear up. I love it. It has so much heart. It has so much just like warmth and like matter to it. You know what I mean? Like it's just such a good movie. And like you said, it's where's that divide of like adults? Like it's kind of like a Shrek deal. You know what I mean? Like Shrek was pretty much made for like adults, but it's a kids movie. Like it's one of those ones where it doesn't seem like it's strictly for kids and you love it no matter what.
I absolutely love it. And Steve Buscemi as the villain is great.
Yep.
And I don't know. There's something about that movie that I hold in high regard to and close to my heart. I think just because again I mean my favorite movies are creature features. Sorry, that's us. Our creature features. Like I love monsters and like I love the idea of doing a monsters world, and I just thought it was super super original and cool. And like it's just, the cast is great. Jennifer Tilly, even as the snake lady, is fucking great. I love Cliff from Cheers as Bigfoot. Like
yes,
it's a great fucking. I'm sorry, the Abominable Snowman. But either way, just fucking great. And one of my all-time favorite animated movies.
I completely agree. Not that I forgot about it, but I just didn't even think about like that caliber of like Monsters Inc., Shrek, and all those ones. Damn. Now I'm thinking, okay, all right, so I'm gonna do another. I'm showing my age, but I'm gonna do another throwback. And this one might be hit or miss with people, but it is Mickey and the Beanstalk.
I'm very familiar with it.
Do you remember that? Oh my God, I'm telling you what, like some of the most iconic lines that Roz and I say to each other, like fee fi fo fum fee 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 I don't know no fee fee like with the fucking giant and he starts talking and that whole monologue when Donald's losing his shit and they have like the dream sequence with the beanstalk and then the whole girl the harp and she's singing to Mickey. I don't know, there's something about that feels a certain way and I just love how ridiculous it is. Like, can I quote another line without sounding silly?
No, just sound as silly as you want. It's a great pick.
When he's like the guy singing his song and he sits down to his big lunch buffet dinner, whatever it is, and he's like picking at the food and Donald's butt sticking up looks like an onion. And then he's like, wish, wish, mash, wish, wish, mash with green gravy. And he's like talking about all the food. Like Rosin will want pistachios, and she'll be like, wish, wish, mash, wish, wish, mash. And she'll say it, and I'm like, oh, you want pistachios?
There you go.
I don't know. It's something that I think is very funny, which is probably not going to be to a lot of people, but
No,
it's one of
that's a great pick. I mean, I remember watching that a lot as a kid.
yes. I still watch it now. I love it. I'll throw it on. It's only like what 35 minutes, not even that long.
Quick, short little watch.
Yes, but one of my faves, and I had to shout it out.
I think my next one I'm gonna be brief on because it's super fucking nerdy. But I feel like I have to include it. It's the Final Fantasy VII movie.
Oh, okay.
Final Fantasy for listeners, I don't know if you. It's a video game franchise. 7 is one that was on the PlayStation 1. It was, I would say, a life-changing game for me. I literally have half of my arm is dedicated to it.
Love it.
So just, on the PlayStation 1, the characters were like, 1 inch tall and made of like blocks. So like when they finally and I think this came out in like 2000s ish, and they did like a full animated like a realized animation. I don't know what you want to call it, like photorealistic animation.
Okay.
Seeing that like in the theaters, I mean, it blew my asshole open when I saw it because it was like I was like, this is everything I've ever wanted.
But I love that for you. I love that you loved it so much and you got what you wanted. I love that.
Yeah, it was, and that's why I'm like I have to include it just because as a movie, if you didn't play the games, it doesn't make a fucking lick of sense. But if you did play the games and you have the love for the characters, just to see them realized and you're like, oh, that's what this character actually looks like when they're not, made of fucking square pegs.
This is the actual vision that I'm supposed to see.
Yeah. So it's just one that I had to include because it's a big part of my childhood.
Well, I love that for you. And I love that you got to talk about it because you look genuinely happy just when you were like, yes.
Oh, I have so much Final Fantasy shit around this house. It's unbelievable.
Hey, if you love it.
There's a sword over there. I'm not going to grab it, but I have one of those weirdos who has like a legit sword in my room because of the fucking games.
You need to pull it out at some point, but don't even say that because Greg has a katana sword right by the bed because he's like, anyone's going to come in here and fuck with me, I'm going to cut him up in pieces. I'm like, you would probably fall over it and stab yourself.
This one's a little unique. It has the handle's a gun.
What?
I'll show it to you at some point.
Please, because I want to see it. We need to. Well, at some point, we'll do like our favorite weapons in a movie, and you'll have to bust out your sword.
Favorite weapons in movie. Well, all right. I'm sure.
You know what I mean? And we could talk about
I could think of something.
Yeah, we could we'll brainstorm that one, but that's just a good segue into showing your sword.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Your pick.
Okay, so again, I won't too much on this one. This one's stop animation. And it's a newer horror movie. I don't know if you watched it, but it's Mad God.
I have not. I've seen clips of it. I want to watch it because I like stop motion, but it also, I'll be honest with you, the look of it looked not bad, but I mean it looked like it would make my skin crawl to watch.
It is so you can feel every single element of that movie because of it. And I think that's what makes it so amazing. But you have to get past it because there's a lot of gross shit in this one.
It looks like a Tool music video, but for 90 minutes.
Yes. Oh my God. That's the most perfect spot on explanation. But it's so dark and it's so brutal and intense for what happens. And there's a scene with it's supposed to be a baby and the shit that it happens. It's just so obscure and it's so crazy, but it literally blew my mind because the fact that someone could do stop motion and make this fucking movie and create those feelings of you said, making your skin crawl. Because I couldn't even eat during it because it was so gross. Like I felt like I could smell it and I could like feel the texture of like slimy, you know what I mean? Like grossness.
It does
But
look gross.
it does, but at some point watch it because it's really good and it's done well and it's scary as hell. It's gory. And you would never expect it from a stop motion movie. So
He worked on it for like a decade, I think.
yeah, it's his opus. It's the dude that did am I gonna fuck up and say that it was whatchamacallit? Oh my god. Phil Tippett that did the special effects for okay, let me pull it up. Yes, I was for Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Did all that. And then he did Dragon Slayer.
Oh, okay.
Return of the Jedi. He did wait, was it Dinosaur?
Like the TV show?
Not Kick the Baby, or what does he say? I'm the baby,
not the mama, not the mama.
Yeah, not the mama. Kick the Baby. That's fucking
Kick the baby. Well, that's South Park.
Yes, that's what's his name. Kyle's brother. Ike. Yes. What else did he do? Jurassic Park. So yeah, he's done like a Starship Troopers.
Oh, now you're talking my language.
Yeah, I knew I would get you that one. And then what else? The Haunting, Virus, My Favorite Martian, just like a whole but like he has a really intense filmography, but in 1990 is when it started. In 1990, Tippett began work on an independent animated film, Mad God. But as he became involved in establishing his own studio, he set the project aside, and then he returned to the project in 2010. He did not have the budget to complete it. He did a Kickstarter, and he wanted 40,000. He got 124,000.
Oh yeah.
Oh no. This is sad. This is sad. The film was first screened December 11th, 2021, and continues screening through mid-2022. It took 30 years to complete. A year before it finished, Tippett had a mental breakdown, causing him to be admitted to a psych ward. That's so sad.
That is sad.
But, I mean, the man's a pretty big genius, because this is, I don't know. I don't know if, like, that prompted the mental breakdown or what, because, like, there's so much going on in it. So maybe, like, he was going through something and it was put
on screen, maybe.
Yeah, but I recommend that you watch it at some point, but don't eat.
It's on Shudder, so
yes.
All right. I don't know how many picks we got left here.
What was that? I think that's 4. Do you want to do one more?
Let's do one more. And I'm bouncing between two, but I feel like we got to throw some anime in here just to mix it up. I was never the biggest anime guy. No, Deanna is absolutely, that's like her favorite thing. So she has gotten me into a lot, but there was one that I've got myself into that is just, I don't know. I don't want to say like life-changing, but like it opened my eyes to this like new style. And that is Death Note.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yes, don't ever watch the live action version with Willem Dafoe. Oh my god.
That bad?
I couldn't finish it. Could not finish it. Still to this day have not been able to finish it because I was furious.
That's so horrible.
So I mean, Death Note, just for Jordana, for you and any listener out there, it's a show. It's the last I don't know, like a handful of episodes. Like, God, I don't know, whatever. It's like maybe 24, 30 episodes, something like that. And the premise of it is that there are these gods, for lack of a better word, and they have books. And if you write someone's name in the book, that person dies. Oh. Well, one god accidentally drops his book down to earth, and a person finds it and figures out what it is, and he just happens to be like the smartest person on the planet. And he's a student, and he's like, I mean, like intelligence is off the charts, and
Yeah.
he starts figuring out how to use the book to alter the world around him by killing politicians and all. And but then like he really sort of the story warps, and he kind of, at the beginning he's like the good guy, and by the end, he's basically like a mass murderer who's like killing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. Very, very. It's a cat and mouse game because there's another detective who's like also ultra smart, and they're constantly, he's trying to figure out who's doing this, and it's really, really, really fucking good.
I kind of want to watch it because I've never really watched anime, but I hear like horror anime is fucking intense. I hear just anime, and I don't know if there's like subgenres of anime, but like I hear nothing but good things about it.
Yeah, I mean that's really. I mean, I love I love Deanna's got me into weird ones too, like the just called slice of life, where you just literally were watching people like have a nice day. But I like the horror ones a lot. Death Note, I think, is a great one to get into because I also like mysteries. Yep. You also might like, and it's a shorter one, and it was made exclusively for Netflix. It's called Devilman Crybaby. That one is super fucked up, and like there's fucking awful monsters, and people are fucking each other. It's crazy.
Okay.
But yes, Death Note is up there, and then just so I can explain to the listeners why I could not finish the live action American movie made by Adam Wingard. Fuck you, Adam Wingard. Is that they told the movie, of course, they made everybody white because that's what they did, which is whatever. But the key issue that they changed is instead of giving the book to Light, is the character's name, and making him a genius, they gave it to a complete moron in high school who's like basically like a surfer bro who's like, oh, dude, like I got a fucking book. Like, and so like completely changing the character, and people were very, very upset.
But I can see where people would be upset because like if a character is supposed to like Leslie Knope, for example, let's take her as a character. If you changed her to make her like
a bitch,
Ann Perkins, yes, exactly, a bitch, or like Ann Perkins, even like just like the slightest change, but close to a character, that's not Leslie Knope. You know what I mean? Like, so
it's not going to go over well with fans, and I just the balls to do it, it's insane. I don't know how somebody at Netflix wasn't like, do you think this is a good idea? Like this seems like a core issue of this character is that he's the smartest person on the planet, and now you want to make him a moron. Okay.
Yeah. And that's like, but like you said, where do you get the balls to do something like that? My motto would be like, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like if people love it, then stay consistent. And then if people are like, oh, feedback, tweak it, or maybe do this, then add like a little bit of edge and introduce it slowly, but don't completely change it. Like that's just, it seems like a recipe for disaster.
And it was. But Death Note, I wanted to get a little bit of anime in here, just because I feel like that was to give the variety and hit on all versions of animation.
Absolutely. And I'm glad that you did, because I have been wanting to explore it. So maybe I'll start with Death Note and then check out some other ones.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome. So my last one is one that just came out recently, and I don't think a lot of people know or have heard of it. It's called Robot Dreams.
Oh, wait a minute. Is this that one that's made by it's somebody famous. It's okay, keep going. Wait, I gotta look it up.
So the director is Pablo Berger, Berger, Berger. And it's about it's set in the 80s in New York City, and this dog assembles a robot, and they become like and there's no talking in the movie. It's just like strictly like their motions and like the gestures and stuff. But the dog builds the robot, and they become best friends, and they share this like amazing connection. And it's just so
this looks awesome. No, this is not the movie I was thinking of, but this looks. Whoa! I want to show this. I want to grab this for the feed. This is interesting looking.
Yeah, and it like literally, it just everything about like camaraderie, meeting someone, whether it be on a romantic level, friendship level, any sort of connection. I'm telling you what, like I cried multiple times in this, but it's so beautifully done. And so it's like it's the adventure. It's he builds the robot rusts, he thinks that he's gone, so he gets another robot, and then the robot goes to find him, and it's just such an amazing, heartfelt fucking movie. And it had me in tears, but in the best way, because I felt like my heart grow 1,000 sizes bigger. It's just a really good movie.
This is a great one to end on, because this is, I guarantee this is going to be news to a lot of people. This looks
It's up,
really cool. It's listed as a tragic comedy. Whatever, I've never heard that phrase before. A tragic comedy.
and you know what? I guess, I don't even know why they would put tragic in there, because it's not. Like the way that this movie pans out, because you think it's going to be one way, but it's beautiful. Like the ending is just so done so well, because you're expecting heartache and you're expecting something, but you just get something completely different that makes you feel happy.
That
Um,
looks awesome.
and the thing for this too is it's up for a gold, or what's it up for? An Academy Award. It's up for like a really big award, but no one knows about it because there hasn't been any marketing. There hasn't been anything for this movie, but we found it and watched it one day, and like on Sunday morning, and it was perfect. So I highly recommend it if you want, like there's no dialogue, there's no speaking in it, but it's just really good.
Oh, it was up for best animated feature in 2023.
Yep. For the Academy Award.
Yeah, so it was just this last year, yeah, the where Oppenheimer won. It didn't win. It was beat out by The Boy and the Heron. But yeah, absolutely. That's such a unique pick. I'm glad you very cool to end on an unknown.
Yes, because I felt like I just kept talking about things from when I was like 4. So I wanted to definitely, and of course horror. So I wanted to throw something in that I don't think anyone really knows about, because I haven't talked about it. But everyone check it out. It's really good.
Well, I think that's going to bring us to the end of our animated escapades.
Yes.
And you got anything you want to end with? And
I don't thank you to your picks, because now I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna watch tonight. But other than that, this was a lot of fun. I'm glad that you picked it, and I hope everyone listening felt a certain way hearing certain names of ones you've watched in the past, ones you haven't, and let us know what your favorite animated anything is in the comments.
absolutely, yeah. And
Yes.
tell us, what, yeah, like what animation really spoke to you.
Yes.
But otherwise, I think that's going to be it for me. And so we'll see you later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.